And so he was over in the UK. And there's a lot of stereotypes between, across the pond, if you will. They against us and us against them, right? Like, we kind of just, view things. One of the things an American who's never been over there will tell you is that the food is terrible over there. Now, that has been told to me by every American I've ever known and or seen or heard about, is that they just don't know how to eat. Everybody I've ever known that's been over there has complained. So I'm scrolling social media. First thing in the morning, here I am, I'm in the studio, and I'm kind of scrolling, and I see Keith Lee's face, and it looks like he's about to vomit. It's like, oh God, I wonder what he ate. So apparently UK viewers are starting to unfollow him because he did not enjoy their cuisine. Apparently there is a place called Spud Bros. It's all based around a baked potato. It looks like almost a Chipotle concept. You know what I mean? Kind of going with a baked potato, and then you add this, add that. You know what I mean? Kind of one of those things. I'm sure there's a few versions of that here in the, in the country. But this is apparently what they gave him. I don't know if it's a stock item on the menu or if it's just like this is what people get because this is the palate we have over here, or what it is. But this is what they gave him. He was served a baked potato topped with beans and cheese. That's like their, you know what I mean? You might as well put it on the flag over there. And then they put tuna fish on top of that. Now, I have a hang up about tuna. I just do. I have a hang up about it. I don't really like it. Now, I'm talking tuna fish like, Starkist or whatever the hell, not like a nice piece of tuna in sushi. But I got a tuna fish hang up. I don't much care for it. So I would scratch this off my board. Also, I think I would starve to death. I think, honestly, London would be my fat camp. And it's maybe where they should send me because, here's what's crazy. I mentioned Chipotle. If I go in there, I want them to put beans in my burrito. Baked beans, I don't understand at all. I don't get it. I don't like them. I don't like the idea of it. I don't want it anywhere near any of my food. And why those people... Clean it up, just keep it nice, right? Pretty early in the morning, just keep it nice. I don't know why those people are obsessed with cramming those little pellets of awfulness into every meal that they give you. They will eat that garbage at cold, man, at breakfast. At breakfast, they are eating that stuff. It is so disgusting to me. And so you putting tuna fish in that is like, whoa! That is so freaking gross. What is it about over there? Now, they get to be smug about their beer, right? Because they're tough enough to drink it half warm or whatever the hell they're so proud about over there. Nobody's really sure. They get to be pretty smug about that. But the food, I'm sorry, man. America does that better. Now, it'll give you cancer in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Yes. But you will want to eat 90 of them. That's that's the thing. We are better at that. It's, and I get on top of people who say things like that who don't have stamps their passport, and I don't have a stamp on my passport, but it's like, man, we got the internet. I've got more than enough, food review shows and the like, and TikTokers. And yes, could Anthony Bourdain have gone through the UK and shown me about 90 restaurants that would have been great and I would have enjoyed the food? Yes, but commonly the way they eat, beans on toast, beans and cheese on toast, it's so freaking gross. And it's also, by the way, it's just unimaginative, right? It's where is, come on, bring me some more creativity in here, right? I don't understand the way those people eat. It is so freaking gross. I like the idea of a potato Chipotle. That's a good idea. I'm sure we have one of those. I'm sure I just haven't been to it. But a carb crazy nation that this is, for as potato crazy as the United States is, there's zero chance we don't have one of those somewhere. But I don't know why in the hell you would put, you could have done that way. There's a million things you could put in that. I don't even like ranch dressing and all that kind of stuff, but if you show me one of those bowls, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And I don't even like that kind of stuff. That is disgusting. I don't understand. Tuna fish and baked beans? In the cheese, what is happening over there? It's they like to get up on their high horse about their comedy, right? Somehow Benny Hill was highbrow. You know what I mean? I don't know. They somehow like to think that like somehow better. Like, I'm a big, and I mean big Ricky Gervais fan. But, like, I feel like they need to dial it down on how there's so much, you know what I mean? Like, their comedy is just, like, so much more intelligent than ours. It's like, you're just rude. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if intelligence is rude, okay, then yeah, fair enough. All right, then it's more intelligent than ours.
The Stansberry Show.
I just want to say I listen to your show all the time, and I really hate you.
On Rock 106.9.
Ask and I shall receive. I was talking about Keith Lee. He's a food reviewer. Pretty popular one at that. I would imagine a lot of you have already heard of Keith Lee. And apparently he was over in the UK, and they have an outlet called Spud Bros, and he tried some of their food. And what they did is they gave him true UK fashion, because they have no idea how to get fat. What they did was give him a baked potato. It had cheese on it. That part makes that, you know, Ohio, the country, whatever. I was like, we got to have like a baked potato outlet like that. Jessica let me know. Baked and Loaded is out there for our eating pleasure. Apparently, Northeast Ohio's original baked potato truck. Deluxe baked potatoes covered with toppings, grilled all beef hot dogs too, homemade soups and chili. Scheduled a private or corporate event today. It sounds actually pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Some of the menu, yeah, it looks like some people, some of the pictures I'm seeing here, sorry for not be able to locate that word, looks like people have decided to go with the more traditional Mexican flair food on top of the potato, which seems smart. That seems like that would be very good. Like, yes, absolutely. When I see salsa and, I see a little of that, and I see some jalapenos and sour cream I don't even like, but yes, that makes sense. It's, that's a traditional, this goes on the potatoes, right? Like that makes all the sense in the world. So thanks, Jessica. I'd never heard of them. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. We all know, sports fans, myself included, we can be a little delusional, right? You guys will point out to me all the time, you are optimistic nowhere except for when the start of the NFL season, you're like, well, they might be good, right? Like, you guys will point this out to me constantly. And you're not necessarily wrong. And I don't know if it's that I work at a music station that I hear more about concerts than I do about sporting events when I hear ticket pricing. But man, when I hear ticket pricing, I hear about concerts constantly. I think it's maybe because of where I work and the kind of stuff I pay attention to mostly. Maybe that's it. But sports events have taken a similar hit here. And by I mean the events, I mean you, for what you're paying to go to these things. Now, I have been very blessed in my career to have fantastic access to both concert and sporting event, right? That has been true. And so I have been very spoiled, and I always try to highlight that inside these conversations, because when I hear these prices, as a man who can afford them, they still make me go, what? And by the way, can afford and should afford are going to be two different things. Because, you know what, let's just, we would lead up to this normally, like a show would lead up to it, but let's just get it out of the way. This last Super Bowl, all right, apparently had bucked a recent trend, as that had been set the previous years. People who watched, apparently this ticket price wasn't as high as the year before, but on average, you paid $6,554 to go to that Super Bowl, to watch them. Now, I said, as a guy who can afford these prices, I would not afford $7,000 to go to a Super Bowl. I would not afford that. I could, clearly I could, if I, pulled the money here, did this and did that, and I'd have to then, all right, take that out of that to float that. And not necessarily, but I always say I could take that money out of my account and I wouldn't notice it. I'm going to notice spending on something I need. Maybe I wouldn't notice it. On something I'm going to go do that I'm probably going to get drunk and not remember, I'm sorry, yes, that I spent that money. And honestly, when I wake up and I realize I blacked out, then I'm going to be... I could think to myself, I could maybe talk myself all the way into it, but I'm like, dude, you're just going to get blacked out and won't even remember. What the hell is going to be the point? And I don't even really like to drink that much, but you just know in that event, maybe you would. No, I don't know. Maybe you take it all in. I've been to a lot of things. I've been to playoff games. I've been to a World Series game. But the Super Bowl is one of those things. It's out there on the bucket list. Have not done a Super Bowl. Have not been lucky enough to do one of those. Would pay a lot. 5 kind of feels like my limit. At $3,500, I YOLO a Super Bowl ticket. But again, I'm old now, man, so it's like, well, where is it? And how far do I gotta go? And what? And like, where are we staying, dude? Because like, no, 3 in a room, dude. I'm 50. What the hell are you talking about? No, right? Like that. And then at that point, yeah, it gets a little. I can get a little diva-ish with the travel. Anybody surprised to find that one out? Anybody surprised? Yeah, that can happen there a little bit. I don't think, yeah, I'm sorry. That's a little pricey. Now, if you wanted to go to the NFC Championship game, which was apparently Lions and Commanders, I have a little bit of a screen freezing situation on me right now. I don't know if that's literally everything that's going on. Oh, look, I can move that. Can I move that? Oh, look, I can move that again. All right, if you want to go to the NFC Championship game, this was Lions and Commanders. That was $991. Okay, now you're getting much closer to my, my comfort level. Now, it's tough to put yourself in this scenario because the Browns aren't any good. Even in their playoff year, you didn't necessarily feel like, man, is this team a really tough playoff team? It's like, nah, man, we're going to get in and see what we do here, right? Lions and Commanders are going to be rivals now that the Commanders are good again, and that's just it. If I could go see, if the Browns and Steelers found themselves in that situation, is that ticket worth $1,000 to me? Yes. Yes. And I probably go, and the whole way there, I'm thinking I can't believe I just did this. For these two, they have let me down every time my whole life. All they have done is let me down. I cannot believe I have just paid this money.
CeCe's back in Cleveland, Dizzy.
Where I went to multiple games and drove home every time, like, what in the hell did I just watch, right? Other than that Steelers game, which was awesome. But yeah,
looked like you got out of Asia before the big shakeup.
Yeah, I would pay $1,000 for that. Now, I'm not as much of a fan of college football as I am pro, but we can take a look at Notre Dame, Ohio State. That national championship game, on average, $2,600. Again, it's too much money. All of this is there's no ticket price on this list where it's like, oh, it's reasonable. They're all too much money. Right? That is 25. This is how screwed up money is right now. Is that when you hear 2,500, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. But it's like, dude, you're talking about like 3-4 hours of your life. It is kind of bad. Like that's now if you're a college football fan, as far as pricing goes, for
you're good.
Compared to the Super Bowl, that's going to be a bargain, right?
I've driven this road at night.
My brother and his wife go to all those games. I mean, they were
pitch black.
And so, like, they went to them. So now I know when he asks me for, to buy my mother another television, I'm like, well, why? Like, just don't go to the Ohio State. I'm kidding, David. I know she's lived in your house 30 years. Please don't send her home. He threatens me every day. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. So, but yeah, $2,600. Yeah, like that's what's crazy. Is like for today's money, that doesn't necessarily sound. Especially if you're going to see a championship one. Like when I start seeing some of these average ticket prices, like, all right, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese Part 4.
Working on an idea here.
That was $335.
Might
now,
I drive for DoorDash.
Her last game at Iowa.
On my days off and in the morning before I have to go to work. So I'm thinking about live streaming that when I get around to it. I gotta figure a few things out first.
Is that I was there for that fact.
A lot of our area here just doesn't have the best internet signal.
You don't really get anything for that. I was there. I think about how many things you've done and what you really remember from those moments. That's what it is. It's like if it's going to be great while you're there, do it for that. But if you're doing it because 20 years from now you're going to be able to say, like I've been able to say, people said, oh, Pink Floyd, the Division Bell. It's like, yeah, I was at that. Oh yeah, Page Plant, 96. I think that might have been 95. I was at that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Stone Steel Wheels. I was at that. Yeah, I saw that too. Kiss Reunion. Yeah, dude, all 4 shows. Saw that. Was at that. I've been able to do that. You know what's nobody's ever dropped like confetti from the sky. Nobody's ever like, sorry for this, term to go back to the age, but nobody's ever like just jumped like bones in the middle on some level, man, like, it's, once you get far enough removed away from the thing, you're like a kid on Christmas. My dad used to say this about Christmas all the time. And I don't know where he got it, because I doubt this was him. But, like, a kid wants something for Christmas so bad. And then 4 days later, they're looking at the box versus playing at the thing. They probably broke the thing or whatever. It's not as cool as they thought it was going to be, or whatever the thing is. And he's a little bit right about it. Where it's like what you think you're getting in these moments is kind of what you're getting. Like what you think you're going to get is kind of what you're getting. And I don't know, man. 7,000. This, I can't get past it. Because 3 times a year, you and I come in here and have this conversation that, on average, and I know this is not true of $4,000 for an emergency. Now, either that's not true, or plenty of those people are going to the Super Bowl versus prioritizing an emergency that they might not see coming, which does kind of sound like every last person I've ever known, including me.
Finally getting into the 70s here in Ohio. Looks like it's going to rain, though, today.
I'm talking sports ticket pricing. It can be expensive. This last Super Bowl was like just under $7,000 on ad. Now that was average ticket price. They're calculating in the most expensive. And they're apparently the Super Bowl before it was about 12,000. Jeez. A lot of people shaking their head at that ticket price. I would tip $7,000. I'm not spending. Is one of them. There's going to be a lot.
This is
But
Sugar
one of them is
Creek.
definitely going to be the television viewing experience.
It's the home of the world's
so
largest
good.
cuckoo
I
clock.
mean, it is so good now that you're almost, if you're a real fan, you're almost better off staying home. Like, it's because you see way more. I can't tell you. Plus, you just get wrapped up in the environment when you're there and all that stuff, and everything gets kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. Right? Now, being there in the moment when something great happens feels amazing. You know what I mean? It is. It's like, oh my God, that's worth something. I don't know if it's worth $7,000. We were talking about that. A lot of people said, dude, even if I hit the lottery, I don't know if I'm paying that. Now, I did not expect this to go this route, so I apologize. But Brandon actually reached out to me and said, you have stumbled across. He feels as if, because of the ticket prices you hear, like that the people who go to those events aren't actually real. This is where he thinks sports are actually real. He's like, those people aren't real. That's not a real thing. Everybody in that venue. Now, I think he's using a little hyperbole there, but I think what he's trying to tell me here is they're filling that venue with fake fans, which I don't know why you would. Because I have buddies who would do anything in the world to go to a Super Bowl. Would spend not $7,000. This is my point, is that the tickets are worth too much money to fake it.
I've actually got a video
Like,
of it somewhere on my channel. It's been a while.
Probably $25 to go.
I'm about due to
Right?
do another
Like, I
video
should not spend
from this
$25.
area.
Right? Would, right? So why not sell me the ticket for $25 versus fill it with people and then tell everybody they're charging $7?
It's
That's
just
the
a
part where
goofy
it's
little
like, you lose me.
scenario.
I don't think this many people are interested in the sports.
Bunch of Amish
Just,
figurines
like,
that
I think
dance
we've seen
around
that
and
over and over and over.
makes a bunch of
One the
noise
things that
every
was
hour on the
list
hour or
was
something like that.
Mike Krzyzewski's last game at 2. Coach K, like, all right, now if you start talking about, I know for sure I'm going to be there for a moment that's kind of like, this does kind of matter. This guy's wrapping it up. I understand it as a fan. On average, they say
Other
the
than
ticket
that,
price was
there's not a whole lot
$5,300. I'm
out
not
here
paying
in
that,
this
and for
area
this
except
reason
for
and this reason
farms
alone.
and furniture,
Nobody gets
homemade
remembered.
furniture,
And so
flea markets.
10 years from now, the kids are going to be telling you this guy that's won 30 games is really the new Coach K. in his era. I mean, Coach K was coaching plumbers.
You're into
Stansbury.
antiques
Who the
or
plumbers of
things
today?
like that.
Well, it won't be plumbers. Hold on. Well, LeBron was playing against, AI creators or whatever the new thing will be. Whatever, how we try to, reduce people down to not doing anything while we achieve nothing, right? However we choose to
Place for
some of my other
women to go spend their rich husband's money.
I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is. There's always a little
Yeah, it's kind of my argument with Charlie.
There's a little bit of that.
He's always so set against being negative about Ohio and the Midwest and things like that. It's just not the best climate. The workers aren't treated the greatest. It's always cold. If you notice, the ones that are against getting into shitty internet connection now, so might drop the signal.
I'm either going to play great or I'm going to play like I've never played in my life. That would bum me out. That's me. It's the NFL would be like 4.5 hours pre-game, post-game. Order of apparently 1,500 or something. I think that's what that number is right there. And then college basketball women's Caitlin Clark last home game at Iowa was about $557. It kind of made me understand that. Her versus Angel were there. One of the kids saw the zip line.
Are you retired? Is that why you're able to travel like that? I got about 12 years before I'm able to retire. Hope I make it. Car payments, rent, and take care of my wife. That's kind of where I went wrong. I shouldn't have gotten married again. I mean, I wouldn't change it. I love her and everything. It's just you got to make choices. You either do one or the other.